Hello, and welcome to another tutorial from Tim's Notebook. It's been a while since the last one, and a lot of stuff has happened. For one, I had to move to a new house, so there's that adjustment to make. The new subscription list keeps growing, so I feel duty-bound to give you guys more content. Today, I'm going to tackle the tricky topic of how to draw and ink ellipticals. For those of you who don't know what an elliptical is, an elliptical is just simply a squish or stretch circle. Circles are easy to draw, all you need is a compass. Ellipticals are a little bit tricky. Basically, you need a string and two fixed points. The further out the points are, that is, the closer to the edges of your elliptical it is, the skinnier it will be, and the closer in they are, the fatter and wider and closer to being a circle it'll be. Let me demonstrate. Okay, the first part of kind of understanding what you're doing with making an elliptical is first you have to define where it's going to go. Like, a little bit hard to see in this image, but I want to make this this motorcycle tire here work with an elliptical that is, you know, like a nice smooth line. So as long as I know where it starts and where it stops and how wide it is, then after that you create a box, if you will, that will contain that. And I know this kind of runs at an angle. That's the fact of life with your comic book page, that they're not always going to be nice proportional and straight up and down edges on your ellipticals. Let me find a straight edge. Oh, here they are. They got pushed out. Found them. All right. So basically, you find the axis that the elliptical is going to rest on. Okay, so this tire is going to fall along this axis. That's the center of it, okay? And then the left edge is here. The right edge is here. And then the top at a right angle, bottom at a right angle. It's kind of a bit of a confusion with all that broken glass that I drew inside, but here what I'm going to do is I'll make it very, very simple what I'm outlining here. I can see it myself on my page, but for those of you who can't see that on the video screen, okay. Let me also kind of tape this into place here. Hang on. Keep it from moving. Let's see. Is that all right? Okay. There we go. So what I just did moments ago with the pencil was this. Okay, and of that, you figure out where the center is, going each way. And then you want to figure out with these special things that I made. They're just thumbtacks with a bit of eraser, rubber eraser stuck on them, and then a long plastic, clear plastic piece of junk that is going to be right where the anchor points. They call them foci, F-O-C-C-I, I think is the name of it. That in a circle, is just one in the center because you draw a circle. But in an ellipse, it's going to be two of these plus your piece of string. If you picture it like it's making a triangle every time you go around it, then you get kind of a squish circle or a stretch circle, whichever way you want to look at it. And that is kind of ultimately what I'm trying to do. And there's a special formula for calculating this. And here it is. You have the elliptical and that triangle. Imagine that's your piece of string you're going to draw around. So you take the square of the long side minus the square of the short side, and the square root of that is your foci. See, here's the formula that it would work out to. And an example would be, say, the long side is 5, okay? The short side is 4. That would be 25 minus 16, give you 9, and the square root of 9 would be 3. Real simple. Okay, so the string is going to get attached to there and there. And I can see it clearly on my page. Not quite as clearly, I'm sure, on your YouTube page. But what I'm going to do is kind of imagine the center of this, where the thumbtack lies, and laying that on there as close as I can. So now it's got a anchor point, and then we'll do the same with the other side, just so they don't move around. Okay. And now I'm going to get that elliptical drawn. That's good. All right. This is basically just a piece of string with the edge with a slip knot in it. And you got to play with it a little bit till you get something that you're comfortable with. And yes, it's going to get loose. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be good enough for you to draw a smooth enough elliptical. Now, the idea is you want this triangle to always stay, it's always going to define this elliptical shape. So here the knot is, it's on the edge of the motorcycle tire. And I'm going to kind of pin it down with my finger, practicing with a pencil first, okay? And seeing if, wow, lo and behold, yes, it is defining that circle really well. And this being a kind of a big object, I'm going to go right ahead and I'm going to draw with the thickest Pigma pen that I got, a number 10. I think that's a 1 full millimeter. Is that right? Again, kind of practicing, holding down the string. And boy, there's a lot of broken glass, so I'm kind of like, I feel like I just want to draw around it a little bit. Okay, that's good. Now, gotta do the other side. So, pull it around so the knot is on this side now, on the left side. Okay, and again, it might have gotten loose, so maybe you don't want to tighten it up. Practice with the pencil first. Oh yeah, it got way loose here. Hang on. All right. There we go. That's decent. That looks like it's about right. There's objects on this motorcycle tire. There's the fork. Of course, I don't want to draw over that. This object is going under it. Okay. There we go. Cool. Now, what did Tim just do here? That's kind of confusing to look at. Be carefully pull this up so I don't tear the paper. Again, yeah, you don't need blue tape, if you're going to tape things down. If it's masking tape, that's fine. As long as it's coming off soon enough, it's not going to stay on there so long that it's going to start bonding to the paper and tearing it. But yeah, that turned out pretty cool. And you know what? I've got this edge of the motorcycle tire too, But I really don't have to do my math all over again. All I know is that the points were right here and right here, right? So if I want to do this edge over again, about maybe a ½ inch away, I can just simply eyeball it. About a ½ inch away, about a ½ inch away. That looks about right. And again, I can see it when I'm looking at it. I don't assume that you can tell on YouTube. You can't see it as clearly defined as I can. But here we go. And again, put that string back in. A lot of you guys will start, or girls, people, a lot of you people are going to get really frustrated and curse out this process and say, I will never try it as, because it does take patience. You got to kind of work with the material, work with the string. The thing is with me, when I draw something and I draw an arc or a line, I know it's a circle, okay? It never quite looks right. Something looks a little bit warped. Yeah, see, now that was working out just fine. It's really important to practice with the pencil first before you go on to the pigment pen. Again, I'm going with the heavy number 10. Whoop, there we go. Beautiful. Why was I skipping it? Well, this scene has broken glass, and I'm not certain if I want the glass to be full pieces in front or if I'm going to draw a line because it's transparent. That's up in the air. You know, let's let that be. Or maybe it'll be a thinner line behind the glass. Okay. So what the hell did I just do here? You can kind of see what I'm doing here, but let me kind of demonstrate this on the example layer here, this page I just laid down. Okay, and the string. Oops, you know, I'm probably gonna have to make this little, yeah, tape down the bottom of it too. There we go. Okay. It's moving too much. There we go. Okay. There. The string, the knot of it, basically this triangle, okay? It's always going to be touching, it's on it at its height, it's going to touch the wall here, okay? So let me take that here. Hopefully it's not going to bleed through, but I'll just go ahead and okay, there's that side. And work it so that, to me, you having your pencil, your pen on the string side that's clean, that doesn't have the knot in it, is the best way to go. And you just hold down the other side, because the other side can't move. There we go. I'm just very lightly tracing it on that metal, what do they call it, that metal ferrule, or that metal shaft that's on the pigment pen. Let me remove all this hardware here, and you can see what I just did. Okay, there's the string, right? And here's the anchor points. Okay, it's just simply a thumbtack with an eraser on it. There's a little gap there. That's where the string is going to fit in. The eraser on the end of the thumbtack keeps the string from moving off. And yeah, you didn't have a complete elliptical, I know, but at this point I can just go ahead and just kind of sketch that in. Okay. And there you have it. You know, assuming that this line was your ink line and all this stuff here, these were penciled in stuff that helps you get the coordinates correct, and when you're ready to ink it, finish the inking, you're just going to erase all that away anyways. And so what I like to do sometimes is, when I get a that line really clearly defined, I'll go ahead and just erase around it. Like here's a good example right here. The edge of the tire was lower, but it's with the ink line, it's actually supposed to be a little bit higher. Now what I actually will do is I'll go ahead and do more ellipticals for like the inner wheel. Yes, I'll go ahead and just carefully plot that out and work on it. Sometimes it's just so it's close enough to where you can buy one of these templates and just go at it. Like this one back here, this might just be fine for just simply using one of these guys, and getting it. Of course, you could skip this whole tutorial and just run out and buy a large assortment of these. But in a pinch, I only have about maybe 8 or 9 of these various templates, and because with me I don't have the money to buy everything, and I'd probably lose it anyways to find that exact right size and right shape. And this is a really cool workaround to get something that looks right, that has the right proportion, the right shape. My problem, and I think it's everybody's problem, is that you don't always draw like the perfect elliptical. You'll draw something like that, or it looks right in your mind's eye, but there's stuff about it that's a little off, that doesn't quite work out right. Let me show you, before I leave you, I'll show you. So here's a really good example of me going at it with that same principle of using ellipticals. These were all done with ellipticals. These tires in here, these in here were done with my template assortments. So it's not always important to use the string and that setup. But sometimes, like this is going to be page 1. This is the first page of my comic, and that tire is going to be the first thing everybody sees when they crack open this book. And I really want this tire to look right, okay? And that's why I go to the trouble of using that process, so that if I get that dialed in and locked down, then everything else kind of flows from there. Everything else kind of falls into place, and it just looks a little more professional, and it looks a little right, a little more tighter. This was a good example too. In my drawing version, things were like, this fender was way over here, this tire was a little higher, but as the process of drawing the elliptical went, I went, oh no, wait a minute, no, it's more like, it's higher. This is really what the shape would be. And so I kind of went with that and erased away the mistakes and went with the inked version. Okay? And that's pretty much all I have to say. Well, I hope you guys got something out of that about how to draw ellipticals. Let's go from here to the critique that I always do. This time it's going to be Ironside, a comic submitted to Reddit a while back, might have been about 3 months ago, by Chungus the Kungus. I left him a message and he hasn't responded saying either way to record this critique, but since it was on Reddit, open for everybody to give a critique, I thought I would go right ahead and dive into this one. The cover here is fantastic. The cropping, I know, is not good on the screen here, so you can't really see it on the top here, but it is formatted okay. It's just that this is just a really quick cobbled together PDF of the images he put up on Reddit. So we got our 3 characters here, and Ironsides is the name of the comic. So let's dive into this, go right to the first page. In 1963, Captain Dynamic, the world's first superhero, saved the world from an alien invasion. All right, you swing to the fences here. So he's putting on his costume, putting on the stuff. Um, I'm reading this just as you're reading this too. I'd never really looked at this yet, so this is a first time view. Let's skip down to this panel here. He's putting on his costume. Anyone who doesn't fall in line gets put down. Anyone with metahuman powers has a target on him. I say screw that. There are vigilantes here in Ironsburg, operating in secret and striking back from the shadows. Tonight, I'm going to join them. My name is Grayson Richards, but tonight I become Shadow Star. Okay, so I suspect Ironsides is the team, maybe? Okay, here's Shadow Star. He's going to go up against the criminals, and he's describing who they are, and he's going to stop them. Cool costume, by the way. I like the details here. This panel here, he's jumping down onto the street. Okay. There we go. And you know, this is like if you're just beginning drawing comics, just start drawing stuff. You know, draw the tops of cars, and there's little legs sticking out there that shows it well. Little confusing here on he's back up here, so he jumped. What did he jump onto? He jumped onto a lower building, maybe? I would assume he jumped right onto the street. Or he's in the I don't know. Let's go to the next page here. Hello, Adam. Yeah! Lovely evening, isn't it? I already told you, asshole, I'm not helping you, Rob Maris. You don't seem to understand what's happening here, Adam. We're going through with my plan tonight, and you're going to help us whether you want to or not. And if I refuse, then my friends and I will just have to convince you. Okay. That's cool. Okay, so we got the hero coming down, and we're setting up. Oh, I get it. Okay, never mind. Here. Whoa. That question about this one, like where did he jump to? He jumped off the building onto the ground, and now he snuck into the office layer of the... No, we're outside. Okay, I think these are dumpsters. But there he is, right there. Okay, you can see him. He's right there. All right. Okay, so we're cool. Yeah, that the connection there could have been maybe a little more clear, perhaps. But anyway, we've got this setup here where the innocent guy is now going to be pulverized by the team, and I like how they got the little logos on their chest. Let's turn the page. One, two, three, four, five. Oh, it's really short. This is the last page here. No! Time to make a move. Shit! Whoa! That's a bad guy saying that. He's going wham. Okay, now what the hell is it? Punch! Adam, there's no pun to explain. Come here. Sure, not like we might get any worse from... Sure, not like my night can get any worse from here. Yeah, I think that... it's a good beginning. We don't see these two guys, though. I was wondering what happened there. The kind of hard-edged gray guy, the rock guy, and the fire guy. Okay. Is that the next issues, maybe? So hopefully we'll see more of these guys. So he's going to help this poor guy and save him from the bad guys. I think as a small criticism here, that in future comics, you can work with the size of panels and kind of playing around with what's important. Because to me, like, let's just look at this one page here. For some reason, this middle panel right here visually is more important than the punch down at the bottom here. If that punch were bigger, or if it got half the page, or even a whole page, the action, we're kind of missing a rhythm to it. There's an equal emphasis on there we go. There's an equal emphasis on pretty much every panel here. So if you play around with that, you might get more. Like, for example, you have the splash page of his head of Shadow Star right here. That obviously is much more important. So it works here. And then on the previous page, it's the setup. It's putting on the costume, and that works good with the same size panels all through. All 6 of these kind of telling you the background story. And he's going up the stairs. There he's on top of the stairs, on top of the building. Okay, that's cool. But then we don't see the size of the panels being exploited that much in parts where you could have really made this much more interesting. Another small criticism, and this is something you can work on. You have the narration boxes pretty good. The square ones, I call them narration captions. Balloon, they're not really balloons. They're not round on the edge. But this here, you need more visual space around the words. And here's a problem a lot of new artists run into. See how his head is touching the balloon? If you get into this habit of drawing everybody a little lower, leave some space above them, pretend that the word balloons are actually like another character in your story, and they get space as well. So I know it may look a little funny before you put the word balloons in, but leaving some room for that would certainly be helpful. And then, like I said about the word balloons themselves, there needs to be more visual space around it. There's a trick. I do it in Illustrator, and if you play around with the wireframe, that is the box that contains the letters when you do lettering in graphics, they say, and I've tried this out too, that you don't use a rectangle shape, you use a diamond shape. And I think I got a tutorial on that subject in one of my things. But that actually works, because when you play around it and you're scrunching the letters back and forth, they fall into line and they fit an oval really well. The diamond would be like that invisible container that's keeping the letters inside. With me, it's a separate layer entirely from the balloon itself. I keep the two things separate so that the balloon is more of a visual thing, like an illustration, and the lettering is much more of a word graphic layer. So anyway, but that's something that you can work on. I can read this comic very easily, and I understand the action to it, so you got that going for it. I think your next step would be definitely make more pages. Go right ahead and keep on doing the texturing, the wall. That's fine. Just go find a piece of brick wall as a Photoshop image or texture and just throw that in there. That works out good too. But play around with panel sizes, and that's pretty much all I have to say about this. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chungus the Kungus, and I hope to see more of your work on Reddit very soon. Okay, cool. That was a great critique. Make sure that you subscribe to this tutorial to get more info and tricks and hacks and tricks of the trade. Also, make sure you go into my store site. That's shop.timsnotebook.com. to see the latest on Mayfield 8. I have 2 other installments, 4 altogether, of this fantastic, hard-hitting, hard-edge adult action-driven comic book called Mayfield 8. Be sure to check that out, and be sure to check out my new video. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll be informed of the new ones as they come up. Thanks very much, and have a great day.